Rocket engines perform a lot differently in the upper atmosphere than they do on the Earth's surface. The only way to make sure they'll work in flight is to make sure they first work here at the Spacecraft Propulsion Facility at NASA Glenn Research Center's Plum Brook Station. The Spacecraft Propulsion Facility is designed to test propulsion systems on full upper stage rockets under the same temperature and pressure conditions they face during an actual flight. This is the only upper altitude test facility of its type in the world that can handle this size and scale of test hardware. Inside this dome is the vacuum chamber, where the hardware is housed for testing. It's 38 feet in diameter, roughly 60 feet high, and can hold full upper stage rockets, which are lowered into the chamber through the hatch at the top. The facility was designed and built to safely handle the large quantities of liquid hydrogen and oxygen carried on a fully fueled Centaur vehicle. During actual testing, the upper stage rocket engines go through the same multiple firing sequence they go through during flight. The engines are fired for several minutes, then shut down, and the vehicle is exposed to the vacuum and cold temperatures of space for as long as needed. Then the engine is fired again. The process is repeated as many times as necessary. The chamber is designed to handle vertical thrust capabilities of 400,000 pounds. This is the huge thermal vacuum chamber. During testing, the hardware sits inside here. We can pump out the air to create the low pressure conditions you find at over 100 statute miles above the Earth's surface. The chamber's lined with a copper cold wall to create temperatures as cold as 320 degrees below zero Fahrenheit. The chamber also features a quartz infrared heating system that can be programmed to simulate solar heating conditions. During testing, the rocket engines fire into a 40-foot-long, 11-foot diameter duct. At the moment of firing, a high vacuum valve springs open at the bottom of the duct to release the rocket exhaust products into the spray chamber below. The 150-foot deep spray chamber is filled with a chilled water spray that cools the exhaust from the rocket. We can spray about 250,000 gallons of water a minute in the chamber, a real downpour. It is the equivalent flow of the Bridal Veil Falls section at Niagara Falls. At the same time, these huge steam ejectors pump out the exhaust products from the firing, allowing the chamber to maintain a high altitude condition throughout the test. The rocket feels like it was in space for the whole time. The ejector trains use about 20,000 pounds of steam a minute. That could fill the Goodyear blimp in just 22 seconds. Right now, I'm a quarter mile from the Space Propulsion Facility, and right next to me is the control room building, just outside the exclusion zone. From here, we control the test article and the facility and gather data on tests, many of which have played a key role in America's space program. The Delta rocket has been a mainstay of the U.S. rocket stable since 1960, carrying both civilian and military payloads into space. Tests conducted here have resulted in improvements and modifications that have helped distinguish Delta as one of the most reliable launch vehicles in the world. The Centaur, America's workhorse in space, responsible for lifting sophisticated communications satellites into orbit and sending spacecraft to other planets, was tested here. We also conduct smaller tests that require the unique upper atmospheric conditions we can create here. The facility simulated the Mars environment for the Mars Exploratory Rover Airbag Landing System tests. We recreated the flight profile for a cosmic ray detector carried in balloon flights over Antarctica. And we've conducted tests of spacecraft onboard propulsion devices and other components. As we travel into the limitless realms of space, it's good to know there's a facility with virtually limitless resources to help us get there. The Spacecraft Propulsion Facility at NASA Glenn Research Center's Plum Brook Station.